Hey, it's Dr. Jade, Teta, and welcome to Metabolic Living's Immunity Upgrade Blueprint. In today's episode, we're going to be covering how to get schmeck in check, adjusting macronutrients, and also discussing when to add meals and or count calories as part of your metabolic detective work. Now remember, the best defense is a strong immune system, and you get a strong immune system when you develop a strong metabolism, because the metabolism is exactly what provides the energy to fuel your immune system so that the immune system can do its job fighting microbes and keeping you healthy. Let's get into the lecture and discuss how to get schmeck in check. Now, the first rule, and this is a very important rule, is that when you're dealing with schmeck, biofeedback, hunger, energy, and cravings, HEC, or sleep, hunger, mood, energy, and cravings, schmeck. These are two terms that we use here at Metabolic Living to understand how our metabolism is talking to us. The first rule when you're trying to get hunger, energy, and cravings, and sleep, hunger, mood, energy, and cravings in check is to always use nutrition to do that and not exercise. And the reason why is that people and their exercise can have varying effects on HEC and schmeck. Some people have no change in hunger or cravings when they exercise. Other people have increased changes in hunger and cravings with exercise. And some people even can have a decreased effect. And so what we always want to do is look at using food directly to control these biofeedback sensations to make things easier. And then secondarily, take a look at exercise. The other thing you need to understand is the difference between HEC and schmeck. HEC stands for hunger, energy, and cravings. And this is a better measure from hour to hour and meal to meal. For example, you can and should assess what your hunger, energy, and cravings are doing between breakfast and lunch, or lunch and dinner, or lunch and a snack. This is a really good indication. So you can say, oh, my HEC was out of check at breakfast. I will make some adjustments for lunch. Now, schmeck is a little bit different because sleep and mood take a little while, at least a day, to measure. So schmeck is a better measurement from day to day and week to week. So hour to hour and meal to meal, you can use hunger, energy, and cravings to make changes and to assess your metabolism. But day to day and week to week, you're probably going to want to use schmeck because you're going to want to know how what you're doing is impacting sleep and mood as well. So let's get into this. How do we get HEC and schmeck in check? And we're going to focus mostly on HEC because this is a hour-to-hour, meal-to-meal, or at most a day-to-day technique that we're going to show you. And we call it the 5-step process of getting HEC and schmeck in check. The first step, step 1, is to fill up the gut and to attack hunger. And this, as you've learned, is about adding protein, fiber, and water, essentially salads with protein on them. It's important to, if we're going to use some intuitive approach, which this is more of an intuitive approach, that you do have some measurements to understand. About 4 ounces of protein is about 15 to 20 grams of protein. So 4 ounces of meat, 15 to 20 grams of protein. 1 cup of vegetables is about 3 to 5 grams of fiber. Now don't get confused here because of whether you're a meat eater or a vegan or vegetarian, it doesn't matter. A meat eater is going to eat mostly meat. An omnivore is going to choose both vegetables and meat. A vegan or vegetarian is going to stick with the vegetables here. And so step 1 is to add protein and or fiber and or water. We've talked about this before. You can think about this as the S diet: soups, scrambles, salads, shakes, and stir fries. Low fat, low carb, soups, salads, egg scrambles, protein shakes, and stir fries or skillet meals. That's step 1. So if HEC and schmeck is not in check, and especially hunger, that feeling of not feeling full, like you haven't eaten enough, then you want to add protein, fiber, and water first. Now, this is going to take a meal or a day or a few hours to see if that worked or not. Now, if that did not work, you can go on to step 2. And this is all about deciding what macronutrients do to you. So if protein, fiber, and water did not get your hunger and your cravings in check, then you can add some fat, maybe 10 grams or so. This would be a tablespoon of coconut oil. This would be a tablespoon of butter. This would be some oil, something like this. You add some fat to your protein, fiber, and water. If that doesn't work, then the next meal or the next day at the same meal, then you're going to go on to step 3. And step 3 is a little tricky here. And follow what I'm saying. What you're going to do is take out the fat and then add in starch. Now you might say, Jade, why are we doing this? There's nothing wrong with either fat or starch. Nothing at all. But you want to know, as a metabolic detective, for your metabolism and your immune system, what helps you function better? Does fat help you, or does starch help you? It's really interesting to know which is better for your metabolism. Are you more of a starch person? Are you more of a fat person? Does your metabolism and immune system run more off carbohydrate and better off carbohydrate? Do those keep your heck and schmeck in check better? Or does fat? And so in order to ascertain that, we're going to go protein, fiber, and water as step 1. We're going to add fat in step 2. And then in step 3, we're going to add starch by itself. And about 3 bites of potato, rice, bread, or about a half a cup of starch is about 10 grams or so. And so this is a really useful thing to do. Now, if that doesn't work, in step 4, we can add both the fat and the starch. So you can see here, but first we're starting with protein and fiber and water. Then we're seeing, does fat help or hurt? Then we're adding and seeing, does starch alone help or hurt? And then we're saying maybe we need to combine fat and starch. So you add a little bit of both. And then finally, if none of these help, you can think about adding another meal, or beginning to count calories and start getting a little bit more specific with calorie math and macronutrient counting. This is an important intuitive thing to understand. Now, at first glance, when you look at this process, you might say, oh my gosh, this is a lot of trial and error and a lot of work. But this becomes second nature really, really quickly. So let me discuss really quickly how this would work. I basically go to step 1, and let's say I have breakfast, and breakfast is some scrambled eggs and blueberries and a piece of fiber toast. And I realized that it didn't fill me up. And so the next day at breakfast, I decide, you know what, I'm going to add a little bit more fat. I'm going to add some butter onto my toast or into my eggs. And let's say that doesn't help me get my heck or schmeck in check either. So the next day, now I'm on the third day at breakfast, I take out all the fat and I add an extra piece of toast. And let's say at that point in time, I feel like, wow, my heck and my schmeck is in check. That balanced everything else. Then I can stop right there. Now let's say it didn't help. Then I might go ahead and add the extra toast plus some fat and see if that helped. And if that didn't work, then maybe I would add a small little snack between breakfast and lunch. And this is the trial and error process that helps us begin to understand how we can help with balancing our biofeedback sensations so we can operate from a place of strength rather than weakness. This is a process we want to work again and again and again to find out what works for us in particular. Rather than relying on someone else to tell us, we let our physiology tell us. All right, here's the key takeaways from today's lecture. First of all, we need to get schmeck in check, and we always use nutrition to do that. We want to understand that heck is an hour-to-hour and meal-to-meal thing, and schmeck is more of a day-to-day and week-to-week thing. And so we can use either one, weekly or daily or hourly or from meal to meal, to understand how our metabolism is functioning. And we also have to understand that easy is earned. When you first start this, it's a little tricky, but within about a week of doing it, it becomes second nature. And this is a key point and a key take-home for becoming the metabolic detective, getting a strong metabolism and getting a healthy, functional, and fit immune system. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. Remember, you can still join plus access all these episodes as well as our free immune strengthening recipes and meal plans and our free immune strengthening workouts by going to www.metabolicliving.com. We've got you covered whether you're paleo, keto, vegan, vegetarian, for all types. We are program agnostic. We're helping you build the program that works best for you. If you've enjoyed this, please share this lecture with all your friends and family. And don't forget to follow us at Metabolic Living on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Please remember, we're all in this together. We are here for you. It's all about boosting your metabolism, strengthening your immune system, and flattening the curve together. I will see you at the next lecture. Take care.